Hi, my name is Emmy. You're listening to Are You Okay? And from the Media Factory in the south end of Burlington, this is 99.3 WBTV LP Burlington, streaming online at 993wbtv.org. On today's show, I get to talk to Casey Leadbetter, who is a multi-instrumentalist producer out of San Diego, California. I got to talk to him today about his musical project. It's called High Noon Patient. I talked to him about his whole music process, sort of how he makes music, and you'll hear throughout the entire interview his music in the background. He makes instrumental music, so I kind of got the opportunity to be able to do that. So you'll hear my interview with Casey, some of his music in the background, and then I'm going to play one of my favorite songs of his. He does a cover of Blue by John Bellion, and that will play after the show. I hope everyone enjoys this interview with Casey. Thank you for being on Are You Okay? I know we've been kind of trying to do this for a really long time, so I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
I start my show every time when I have a guest on asking if you're doing okay. Like, how are you doing? Are you okay? Where are we at today?
That's a really tough question
It's a loaded question.
Started out hard hitting.
Yeah, it doesn't get any
Um,
easier.
Today I am okay, I will say. I think that this whole year has been like a pretty difficult one as far as years go. But I've been doing a lot of work on myself. Been doing a lot of work outside of music, which has been great. And it's taken a long time to kind of reap a lot of those benefits, but finally starting to see some of them fall into place. Things are kind of turning around, turning a new leaf. So, yeah, doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. We're rounding out 2022. I feel like it's been such a weird year because it seems like this transition time, we're half back to normal, but not really. It seems like everyone's carried on, but some of the issues that got pulled up during the pandemic are kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of residual feelings for me. I'm not sure how to feel some days. It's oh, are we aside from any personal things going on, there's just this weird air where it's oh, I guess we're done with this thing that was took up 2.5 years of our lives and completely altered everyone's reality, and then we're just
Yeah.
kind of pretending that everything's back to normal, but also everyone I know has COVID right now, so are we actually done,
It is. I think definitely not done, but I also kind of agree that there's definitely some residual effects from 2020 and 2021 that I definitely felt this year,
Yeah.
with things opening up and being busy again was weird and really exhausting in a way that I hadn't felt in a while. So that's been probably my toughest challenge to overcome, is just giving myself time to rest and to say no to things, which is
uh,
so hard to do because we said no for so long.
do you want to introduce yourself and who you are and the type of music that you make?
My name is Casey, but my sort of musical project is goes by the name High Noon Patient. And I guess it kind of started 4 or 5 years ago. Soon after I graduated college, I just finally had some money to spend on a laptop and music production software and a little bit of equipment. And yeah, it kind of took off from there, and took me a really long time to really make something that I was proud of, and kind of feel like it was worth sharing. But yeah, I would say my music falls in the instrumental, experimental kind of realm.
How did you get the name High Noon Patient?
That is something that only I know, and I intend to keep it that way.
Oh my god, sneaky. I respect
Yeah.
it, but now you've just piqued my curiosity even more. Okay. I'll keep guessing.
No, I heard something a long time ago from a big musician. I can't remember exactly who, but they had a song out that was like mysterious in a way, told some kind of story that it was hard to put together. And I saw an interview where he was asked about it. He basically said that's like my information to know, and like
Mm,
it's up to you to decipher it however you want, but only I know what it is, and some things are meant to be kept to
yeah.
yourself. And I thought that was really powerful. And not that High Noon Patient is super like special or
It's
anything like that,
cryptic.
but but I don't know. It's I just like keeping it to myself.
I am wondering why you decided to name, like you called it a project, right? And it's, I mean, it's what you release, music under, but I'm curious if it was intentional to kind of like remove your name from the project.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and that's kind of maybe an insecurity or an internal struggle of not like putting my name behind it. It gives me something to somewhat hide behind, and that really, I don't know, gave me the energy and courage to actually do something if it wasn't like on my name. So I don't know. I think that was probably part of it. Yeah.
I have like the like an opposite thing going, but like it all of a sudden feels really strange, like to see my name on like a post. Like I'm like playing a show, and it's just weird that it's like just my first and last name. Like for some reason, I'm like, this seems very unartistic, and like
Yeah.
it seems, I don't know. I Music is like such a mode to channel your own stuff and like to channel who you are, but it's also this like amazing opportunity to like express something completely free from like who you're perceived as, I guess. Like that's something that I like so much about music, is you can kind of do whatever you want to do. And I kind of like the idea of like, yeah, this is a project, or like this is like kind of removing your name from it. And I haven't learned the lesson yet, but I like admire that separation, I think.
Yeah. I also think there's nothing wrong with keeping your name.
Yeah.
I just want to make that known.
True. I'll have to put some more thought into it, I guess. I wish I had like a cool, like, I don't know, a cool stage name or something. Like famous people who are born and it's like actually their name, but it sounds so cool. Like Phoebe Bridgers, like
Yeah,
that just
Elton
sounds like a
John.
famous person's name. Elton John, like come on, that sounds like a musician. Anyway,
Oh, maybe it'll come to you eventually. Maybe it'll come to you.
yes, true. I'm really excited. Like, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, other than the fact that I just really appreciate your music and I really appreciate you, is that a lot of the content that I play on the show, and a lot of people that I have on the show, are like really lyric heavy and like about expressing emotion via lyrics. And I really wanted to talk to you and kind of like pick your brain about having strictly instrumental music. For me, when I write, I'm thinking like, I really want to express this specific thing, and so like let me write lyrics on this and then kind of open it up to music. Or I'll have like a cool hook that I write, and then I'm like, great, I've been wanting to write about this, specific emotion, event, situation, so let me like, create off of that. And I'm just really interested in what your process is like, because you don't have lyrics. Like where does your, like, what is your muse, I guess? How do you guide where your songs go without
Mm.
lyrics?
I think so. I've been writing songs for a long time, probably longer than I've been producing actual instrumental music. I've never quite been able to marry the two. And
Mm,
that's been probably the biggest challenge that I've faced with music production and music in general. Um, and I think I've found some contentness in having just instrumental music, but there's definitely a part of me that would like to sing and be more confident in my voice. But I think it just takes time, and you have to find your voice. And I don't know that I've found mine yet. And
yeah.
I think that's okay. I would like to find it, but it'll find me when it's ready.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as is how I kind of structure my instrumental, I guess So music production in general started for me like just as a creative outlet and something that I could sit down and be free from everything else in the world, and just make anything that I wanted. And I think I still hold a little bit of that. There's little structure to what I do when I sit down to create something. It's kind of whatever is coming to me in that moment. Sometimes that's based off of something that's happened to me. Sometimes it's not. Very mood based as well, depending on how I'm feeling in that day. I would say there's not a ton of structure or rhyme or reason, which I know is probably an abnormal answer for a musician, but I kind of like it that way, you know?
I think it's cool. I think to not be stuck in like, oh, this song needs to like mean all of these things or something like that. I know like I'll talk to some of my musician like lyricist friends and they always say, and I identify with this so much, like I only write songs when I'm sad.
Mm.
You know, it's like, oh, like what was the last time you wrote a song? And it's like, oh, probably before I like got in a relationship, you know, when I was like moody and like upset. And like I think that we can get stuck sometimes in like this needs to mean something like so specific and it needs to have like beginning, middle, end because X, Y, and Z happened to me in my life. And like all of a sudden we're overthinking something that like the whole point of making music is just like a release and like that could be it. I think it's really cool. It sounds freeing to do it that way.
Yeah, I think also music to me, I would say the music side rather than the lyric side of a song stimulates me more than the lyrics would. And I think I get lost in like sound quality and different instrumentation and synthesis and all the components of the actual instruments that are being played. And I love that part of music so much that I think it's kind of overshadowed the lyrics for me.
I wanna ask you who some of your like musical inspirations are. I really like how you said that you listen to the music more than you listen to the lyrics. Like I'm really curious, like whose music does it for you?
Currently, now I'm a huge FKJ fan.
Yes.
So I just really love how he can bring like a calming nature to his music. And that's one artist that really doesn't necessarily focus on lyrics as much. I mean, he does sing, but I think it's much more about the sound quality that he brings, the different instruments that he plays. Um, I mean, I've always been a big Bill Withers fan.
Yes. Okay.
And so that's one. Yeah, I mean, he fits more on the lyric side. But I grew up listening to like classic rock. That's what my parents always played. And so I was listening to like Jimi Hendrix. Like that's who I was like trying to play like when I first bought an electric guitar. And so I think a lot of that kind of classic rocky style guitar play still sticks with me a little bit.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear Jimi Hendrix in your music for sure. Like
Oh,
you could totally
wow.
you can like I hear that inspiration, I feel like in what I hear you play, which is really cool.
Yeah. I also like have been listening lately to a lot of like funk music. It's the like danciness of it, and I don't know, I just like to move a little bit when I listen to music
Yeah.
sometimes, and I typically go to funk when I'm looking for that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like funk as a genre is kind of like the pinnacle of movement in music as opposed to like the lyrics, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
100% when I'm listening to funk, I'm listening to the music arrangement over, you know, any vocals. I mean, I feel like every funk song could not have lyrics and it would still do like have a pretty similar effect, you know? I feel like you have a lot of different instruments going on in your music, but you know, I hear a couple, you know, that stand out. Like I like especially for your new music that isn't out yet, but I got a chance to listen to, like the bass in all of those, like I love so much. And I'm curious what you're doing on like a guitar, bass, other instruments, and what you're doing with like a MIDI keyboard. Like how do you write your music?
So I've put a lot of emphasis lately on drums. And the quality of the drums that I'm making. So in the past, I made a lot of just like lo-fi beats for a while, which is cool in its own right, but it never really like struck the true chord with me. No pun intended again, but that was a lot of just like really simple loops, some samples that I was getting in different places. And I got into like the beginning of this year, once I had finished my previous project, and I was like, I am going to create something that is not like, doesn't have any samples, doesn't have any drum loops, is all me like actually physically making something. And I know a lot of that still comes through MIDI drums or things like that, but I want it to come from my brain essentially. And so I really started focusing heavily on drums, getting good drum samples to pull into a sequencer, recording some of my own claps and snaps, and I mean, drumsticks banging on random objects in my house. That has really been like the foundation for what I've been creating lately. I think the live bass coming in over that is really the funk influence that I'm listening to a lot, trying to feel something that's like making me move a little bit, kind of maybe get out of my seat. I'll typically like bring in a guitar or some kind of synth to fill in the mid to high frequency range of the song. And once again, that's just like whatever I'm feeling, that's where I head, you know?
I'm wondering where you think you'll go next.
That's something I'm trying to figure out right now. I don't quite know. I feel like there's another tape or two down the line, or hopefully sooner than later. I really would like to have a full project where I'm singing. That's really, I feel like the next big step for me. Once again, I still have to like really figure that out.
I like really want to now, like you've piqued my interest, and I really want to hear your singing voice and your lyrics. Like I'd love to read your lyrics.
I have a question for you. So you sing, so what kind of techniques or kind of courage do you give yourself to be able to sing? You have a lovely voice.
I thank you. I have no courage when it comes to singing. I'm so insecure about my voice. It's unbelievable. Like I really would never consider myself a singer. Struggle with it so much. And I will say, like, almost always any of the opportunities that I've had, any like opportunities have been like people asking me, or like me being a part of a project that like someone else is working on, because I'm not very like, this song that you've heard, the Cheers to Feeling Stuck song, is like the first single that I'm ever gonna put out that's like, you know, my like under my name officially, I guess. And I guess that's like that's kind of like the first thing that I've ever like been like, oh, I actually want to do this, so I'm gonna like put this out. All to say that like I have had a really hard time like sitting into my own voice, because I'm like not, you know, a technical vocalist at all. But what I will say is I spent years like playing guitar and like playing music and just never singing. And I was like, this is so, because I didn't feel like I was good. And it's such a shame that we take singing to be like, I don't know, like singing and dancing and like all of these things that are like a part of the arts. It's like, for some reason we think that if you're not automatically amazing at singing, then you shouldn't sing. Those are the things that bring people so much joy, and like singing has always brought me joy. And like I just one day was like, F this, I like don't want to not sing anymore just because I don't have like a natural inclination to like sing well or something. Like I'm just gonna start. And so that's kind of how I like, you know, started to do it, but like very quietly in my room or like with my
Yeah.
dad or whatever, you know. I think I've gained my confidence over the years, and it's not much, but I have gained some. I think just from like feedback, like play in front of some of my friends, or I don't know, like work on a couple of projects, and just kind of like over the years of just like being more comfortable with anyone else hearing me is like
Hmm.
kind of how I've done it. I started writing music, only liked my voice when I wrote songs that suited it. I don't know, I don't think my voice sounds, or like I don't think my voice works well with like a lot of music. So I was like, well, there's nothing out there for me, so I'm just gonna write it. And then that really helped me too. I'm really tired of like myself thinking and also other people thinking that like if you don't have perfect pitch, then like there's no place for you singing.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. The music we hear on the radio and on Spotify, all the big artists are like they're working with professionals and
Yes.
professional equipment and basically resources that people who make music in their bedroom or in their little office space in their one bedroom apartment don't have. I had the expectation that I wanted my music to sound as just as high quality as what I was hearing from some of my favorite artists. Realistically, with the equipment and the resources I have, like that's not fully possible. So I had to get to a point where, okay, how can I make something that I truly love and I'm really proud of with the stuff that I have, right?
Mhm.
And I don't need to go out and spend a bunch of money. I don't need to have a friend that will mix and master it for me. I don't need all of these things or fancy recording studios. Like, okay, well, what can I truly make where I'm at right here? And I think once I got past that point, it really like opened me up to be more confident to make things and release things and have other people hear them.
A lot of the production that pop voices use takes away the things that are special about your voice. Maybe some advice that I might have for someone who is like maybe in the same position as both of us, which is like that is how you like I don't like when my voice is too like when there's too much auto tune on it or anything like that. Like it takes the emotion out of my voice. It takes what's like very different about my voice than people can tell, and like people like that. Like I don't know if you've ever I don't know, that's like hearing people live, you know? It's like, "Oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
it like sounds so different. There's so much more emotion in it." It's because it's more raw and a little bit stripped back, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
There is, yeah, it's a good point. There's a level of authenticity almost that is really nice to hear.
What I'm hearing is that we'll be looking for some singing from you soon, maybe.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Do you have any idea? Like, are you trying to put music out this year, or are you like taking it as it comes? What's kind of like your timeline?
Um, so I released the first tape in February of this year. And then I took a solid like 4 months off. I was so I don't want to use burnt out because it's not the right word, but I just really needed a break because
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time and energy and listened to those 15 songs a million times.
Yeah, I feel that.
And so I slowly started buying a little different equipment, or I'm constantly buying and selling equipment. And I was like kind of revamping my rig a little bit and getting a few different things, and slowly started making a few new things over the summer. And then this fall, it like really picked up for me, which was like really rejuvenating. I've kind of hit a rut the last few months again.
Yeah,
And it's just like the wave of music making. It's always up and down.
how it goes.
So I do have some stuff that I would like to finish soon. I would like to finish up some music before school starts in January, but it's a fairly ambitious goal. So we'll
You
see
got
where I get with that. Yeah.
that would be very cool. Please let me know if you do. I will be really
Awesome.
excited if you put something out that's newer as well. Casey, thank you so much for being on Are You Okay? Tell people where they can find you and where they can find your music.
You can find me on all social media at highnoonpatient.wave, no E on wave. My music is on all streaming platforms, wherever you get your music. And I want to say thank you to you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks again to Casey for being on the show. Once again, go check out High Noon Patient. I'm so excited to see what else Casey's going to do. I'll be very excited for it either way. I just have music for the rest of the show. I want to get to it, so here's St. Jude by Florence and the Machine on Are You Okay Radio.
Another conversation with no destination, another battle never won. Each side is a loser, so who cares who fired the gun? And I'm learning, so I'm leaving, and even though I'm grieving, I'm trying to find the meaning. Letting loss reveal it, letting loss reveal it. The patron saint of the lost causes. We were lost before she started. We lay in bed as she whipped around us. Maybe I've always been more comfortable in chaos. And I was on the island and you were there too, but somehow through the storm I couldn't get to you or St. Jude. Somehow she knew. And she came to give a blessing while causing devastation, and I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I just had to mention grabbing your attention. St. Jude, the patron saint of the lost cause. We were lost before she started. We lay in bed as she whipped around us. Maybe I've always been more comfortable in chaos. Trying to find the meaning, let loss reveal it, let loss reveal it. And I'm learning, so I'm leaving, and even though I'm grieving, I'm trying to find the meaning, let loss reveal it, let loss reveal it. you walk away, I'll walk away. First tell me which road you will take. I don't wanna risk our paths crossing someday. So you walk that way, I'll walk this way. And the future hangs over our heads, and it moves with each current event, until it falls all around like a cold, steady rain, just staying when it's looking this way. And the moon's laying low in the sky, forcing everything metal to shine. And the sidewalk holds diamonds like a jewelry store case. They argue, walk this way, no, walk this way. And Laura's asleep in my bed. As I'm leaving, she wakes up and says, I dreamed you were carried away on the crest of a wave. Baby, don't go away, come here. And there's kids playing guns in the street, and one's pointing his tree branch at me. And so I put my hands up, I say enough is enough. If you walk away, I'll walk away. And he shot me dead. I found a liquid cure from my landlocked blues. It will pass away like a slow parade. It's leaving, but I don't know how soon. Got me dizzy again. You think after 22 years I'd be used to the spin, and it only feels worse when I stay in one place. So I'm always pacing around or walking away. And I keep drinking the ink from my pen, and I'm balancing history books up on my head. But it all boils down to one quotable phrase: if you love something, give it away. A good woman will pick you apart, a box full of suggestions for your possible heart. But you may be offended and you may be afraid, but don't walk away, don't walk away. We made love on the living room floor, with the noise in the background from a televised war. And in that deafening pleasure, I thought I heard someone say, if we walk away, they'll walk away. Greed is a bottomless pit, and our freedom's a joke. We're just taking a piss, and the whole world must watch the sad comic display. If you're still free, start running away, 'cause we're coming for you. Tired of holding this pose. I feel more like a stranger each time I come home. So I'm making a deal with the devils of fame, saying let me walk away, please. You'll be free, child, once you have died. from the shackles of language and measurable time. And then we can trade places, play musical grace. Till then walk away, walk away, walk away, walk away. So I'm up at dawn, putting on my shoes. I just wanna make a clean escape. I'm leaving, but I don't know where to. I know I'm leaving, but I don't know where to.
Your food was a long visit round. Say you are the only. So many foreign roads, so relatively far, so ready for us. So ready for us, a creature fear. I was teased by your blouse, spit out by your mouth. I was loud by your load. Seminary soul. Tail on, tail on, take all on the window. Soft bloody nose, sounding at the floor. So many territories ready to reform. Don't let it form us. Don't let it form us. A creature fear. So did it for his own. Is he ready to reform? So many Torahs. So many for us, a creature fear. Shooting all vicious collections of words. The losers make fact by the things they have heard. And I find myself trying hard to defend them. I may
decisions, some right and some wrong. And I let some love go I wish wasn't gone. These things and more I wish I had not done. Ba-da-dum. But I can't go back, and I don't want to, 'cause all my mistakes that brought me to you. I have some friends, they don't know who I am, so I write quotations around the word friends. But I have a couple that have always been there for me. And I miss some fun, 'cause I worked through the dawn, expecting your praise when I returned home. But I paid the cost, 'cause I got left alone for the songs. But I can't go back, and I don't want to, 'cause all my mistakes that brought me to la 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 la. All my mistakes that brought me to you.
And we're slow to acknowledge the knots in our laces, audit races. And we go back to where we moved out to the places, audit races. I bought it in a can and stirred it with my fingers, singing.
Pick it all up and start again. You've got a second chance, you could go home, escape it all, it's just irrelevant. It's just medicine. It's just medicine. You could still be what you want to, what you said you were when I met you. You've got a warm heart, you've got a beautiful brain, but it's disintegrating from all the medicine, from all the medicine, from all the medicine. You could still be what you want to be, what you said you were when you met me. You could still be what you want to, what you said you were when I met you, when you met me, and when I met you.
be brave. Look up, do trust your hate. Pick up, mix up your lane. Stay here, be close to your grave. I'm tied to a rope and I'm stuck in one spot, and there is beauty all around me. Fall to the ground, do not go back, and there are people all around me. I'm dead, but I'm still breathing. I'm dead, but I'm still breathing. I'm dead, but I'm still breathing. I'm dead, but I'm still breathing.